Hello, Internet. I am Corione, your witch in residence here on YouTube. And I'd like you to picture something for me. It's 1986. You're a kid and you're kind of wandering around a little bit, and a light comes down from the sky, and suddenly it's years and years later when you're picked up. And it turns out that part of the problem is the the alien ship that captured you was actually damaged, and it needs you to be its navigator to find its way home and a way home for yourself as well. This is the concept behind Disney's 1986 Flight of the Navigator. It's a fantastic movie, and I can't wait to dig deep into it. Before we do, though, it's come to my attention that a lot of the people who watch my videos aren't necessarily subscribed to the channel. I would really appreciate it if you guys would give it a like, a subscribe, and a comment too if what I'm talking about is interesting to you. It helps out small channels like me a great deal, and I think it would probably help out your favorite YouTubers as well, so please consider doing that for them as well. Now, with that obligatory ritual out of the way, let's dig into the Flight of the Navigator. So, this is going to be part of my favorite movies. And I'm going to be covering some of my absolute favorite movies this month because January is my birth month. And I figure, why not watch some of my favorite movies with you guys? Now, to me, what is great about Flight of the Navigator is it's not only a kind of a kid fantasy about what it would be like to be involved with an alien spaceship, but I feel like in a lot of ways, it's also an exploration of what it means to be human, what it means to be young, and having a big world kind of fall upon you. In a lot of ways, this is almost a metaphor for growing up and gaining responsibility. Now, I don't talk much about parenting on this channel because, one, I don't know if a lot of you are actually parents yet. And two, um, because this isn't really about a parenting thing, but I think this time it might be a little bit. Because I want to pose to you guys an important question. When is it time to start taking responsibility? Even if you're not at fault, because fault and responsibility are two different things. Even if you're not at fault, when do you step up and take responsibility? Now, what I was always taught was the day you officially become an adult is the day you have a spare couch for someone to crash on, and you are willing to disrupt your own life to take care of somebody else when they are in need. I know that sounds kind of weird, but hear me out on this. In the story, the young boy has the option, really, of letting this all go, leaving it in NASA's hands, basically giving them the scans and saying, you know what, I'm done. I want to go home. I'm out, right? But eventually he does realize that this alien ship, it needs him, and it needs his help, and it needs to be able to go home again, just like he wants to go back to his old life. And in a lot of ways, we can all relate to that, right? We've all had those moments where, the treehouse doesn't really work for us anymore because we understand how important it is to take personal responsibility for a great number of things, right? We can talk about those times because we all have had them. For me, I think the moment I realized I had to start taking responsibility and getting into that kind of grown up mindset was probably when my dad was at work. My mom's mental health had taken a pretty heavy toll, and I had to step up and be the parent, if you will, to my younger sister. I had to make sure that things got done, that she was taken care of, and I was still pretty much a kid myself. But I knew I was responsible, not because I had to be responsible, but because that's what you do when you are capable of standing up and you have the opportunity to choose to stand up, you should stand up and try to help if you can. Now, did I do everything absolutely perfect on my first run out? No, right? And it took a long time for me to realize how important taking on those responsibilities and putting aside the being able to decide that the childlike nature that I had experienced before was not going to be helpful or appropriate in this time. It was time for me to be a grown up. And so I was. And I think I did a fairly good job later in life as I got used to the role. So I want to put this out there, though, to the parents that are watching. Are you adequately preparing your kids to step up and take responsibility for themselves? Are you raising the kind of kid that will help the alien ship get home, despite all the hardship, despite the fact that you may not personally get home yourself? Are you ready for that kind of responsibility? And, some of us still deal with the struggle of stuff like that today, but I want to suggest that if you're not preparing your kid to deal with issues responsibly, when do you expect that to be done? I think it's important that we raise our next generation to be prepared for the mantle of responsibility that we have to wear now. And for those who don't have kids yet, I would put it forward, are you ready to take on the responsibilities that you're going to need later in life? I'm not saying everyone should be a parent. I'm saying that everyone should be able to step up to the responsibilities that are on you, and that you are helping others be prepared to stand up for what they have to be prepared for. So, as the movie progresses, we see that even though he's stepping up, even though he's making the mature choice, he's still a kid. And I think that's okay too. All right. I mean, look, everybody who listens to my channel, I'm fairly certain is fairly geeky, fairly nerdy. And we all know those geeky and nerdy types that never quite grow up. They kind of remain that eternal lost boy kind of attitude. And being a lost boy is great, but you know what's better for the world? For you to be able to be a kid whenever you can, but be able to put that aside and step up and take responsibility for situations when you have to. That's what the world needs. People with childlike wonder and amusement and joy and creativity, but who also remember to pay their cable bill. And so, what I would suggest you to ask yourself is two questions. Parents, if you are a parent, are you readying your kids so that when they have to adult, they are ready to do so? And people without children, I ask you, are you ready to adult today? Are you ready to stand up and say, you know what? These are the problems I've got going, but I can deal with them, and I will tackle them one at a time, and I will keep working through the problem until they're done. I very much identify with a situation where, I'm a big kid, but when the time comes, I can put the kid side aside and stand up and adult and do what I have to do to take care of my friends, my family, myself, and those who rely on me. And so let's answer that question together. Are you either preparing someone else for adulthood properly, or are you adulting yourself? Are you making sure the money for the cable bill is there? Are you making sure that the money for the emergency goods that you may need are there? Are you ready to take those steps? Are you active in attempting to take those steps? I hope you are. I hope you guys are doing your level best to make those things happen. And if you're having trouble with that, if you're having trouble with figuring out, well, how do I give my kid enough responsibility that it's going to matter, but not so much responsibility that it crushes them? We can discuss that in the comments because I think it would help everyone to understand that. And the other question you got to ask is, are you ready to, like, are you adulting yourself? Let's post our adulting wins, right? The stuff that's really, really hard to do, the stuff that sucks. Um, Honestly, what I'm trying to do is by my adulting is I'm trying to make sure all my videos get recorded in a timely fashion so that I've got some time between doing the videos and being able to celebrate my birthday this month um, in a way that I really enjoy. So let's all comment about our adulting and the balance that we strike between having the youth and exuberance and wonder of your kid's self, but also having the capability to be the serious adult that deals with difficult stuff. Guys, I want to thank all of you for listening to me today. I really appreciate it. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.